about to donate a shitload of money for no reason at all.
I don't know why I keep having the swords.
Dlive, with mostly Mixer, Kick, Twitch, a lot of them got the spotlight. Dlive kind of went to the wayside and ended up being, well, forgotten about by most. There is an exception though. The exception being when Pewdiepie went on to Dlive. For those who don't remember, he did get canceled off of YouTube for a brief minute, and with its options being mainly Twitch, Mixer, and then Dlive at the time because Kick didn't exist. He obviously chose Dlive of those three. For those who don't remember what Dlive is or what makes him special from other sites, let me catch you up for a bit.
For those of you who don't know what Dlive is, it's a live streaming platform. Live streaming is coming up in the future. That seems like a great idea, Felix. Dlive is built of the Lino blockchain. They provide a disruptive solution for the industry. What does that mean? Let me tell you. Dlive's mission is to empower creators. But how, you may ask? Through their revolutionary reward system. Number one, they take no platform cut. So basically, if you donate to a streamer or if you subscribe to a streamer, the website itself usually takes a percentage of that. Not on Dlive, it all goes to the creator. Pretty cool. Number two, viewers as well can earn Lino points, which is the currency, simply by engaging with the streamers. Pretty epic. Number three is the one that I really like as well because users themselves get to influence the shape of the platform, guide where its direction is going, and also get rewarded for it, for having Lino points. Personally, I think it's really cool to have a creator-based website actually putting creators first.
Remember that last part, because that last part is going to be very important to later. Despite having a big impact on Dlive, this video isn't about PewDiePie. This is about the site he was on, Dlive, because most that I've seen don't really talk about Dlive, and Dlive ends up being pushed to the wayside except by people who remember it barely or people who were on it. But to recap a bit, it started up in 2017 around when Mixer and Twitch were also battling at the same time. Slowly grew over time with this formula being actually very similar to Kick's format where it was a 90-10 split at the time. This changes later, but we'll get back to that. Along with being blockchain, and for those who don't know, having a blockchain type streaming site gives you more independence as a streamer. Actually, I'll go one step further and just say it gives more content creators as a whole freedom. You can see that on Odyssey. Feel free, click the link below. So as a result, people who did know or didn't slowly came onto Dlive to try it out, maybe become a new home for them. This is until about 2020. So from 2017 to 2020, Dlive was growing at a steady pace. Not world beater status, obviously, but still steady pace, especially for very cutting edge tech at the time, and now even. Around 2020, Dlive was bought by BitTorrent, another big name not in the streaming space, but in the blockchain space. So as a result, Dlive moved from the previous blockchain to what they currently use now, or at least the BitTorrent blockchain. This didn't really change much on the surface. It was more of the CEO that changed things. Because at the same time, there's several things that happened around 2020, limited but not including the radicals that are on pretty much almost all of the Outer Rim. And to clarify, the Outer Rim is basically sites like Kick, Rumble, almost every site that isn't classified as mainstream. Unfortunately, that's people like that are on almost every site. No matter where you look, you'll find at least one of those type of people. But unfortunately, since Dlive is not really the most popular site, they got a lot of the brunt of those type of people. But in their terms of service, they do not condone that type of influence overall. Because most sites, like 99% of them, mostly have a different influence from what those type of people actually want. The reason why I'm being general is just because it's easier to say them in a general manner than in an actual, oh yeah, this group, because that's not healthy. Anyway, back to Dlive. Dlive's solution to this was mostly to try to regulate those people by banning them. This, as a result, and combined with a few articles that weren't in their favor, turned them into a very strict site. One where they started banning even their most, to the point where they even started banning the biggest streamers on their platform. Not PewDiePie, of course, but almost everyone below that, I think. And that didn't really help their perception since you have to remember the primary detail of the audience they're catering to. For the most part, blockchain people and crypto people for the most part in general, like the openness and freedom of the blockchain itself. This is mostly including people that were like open source, people that would just like the freedom of being on a site that doesn't have their hands on their shoulders the entire time. I think Dlive forgot about this when they were banning people at the time, just due to the fact that now, obviously, what's the difference between them and Twitch or Mixer or Kick? There's not really much difference to most people at that point. So, naturally, people just started leaving. Why would you stay on a site that doesn't even separate themselves anymore outside of just, oh yeah, we are in the blockchain, or we do sell crypto? Cool, but part of it was the fact that you don't have to get so hands-on. Part of it was just the fact that you're a good site that people can just stream on regardless. I'm not saying anything, but it gives you a lot more legroom if you just have that type of mentality. Or at bare minimum, keep it within your vision and ban people only necessary. This is what other sites have done to a degree. Because for the most part, a lot of other sites, including sites like Kick, Rumble, Odysee, obviously, they only ban when they actually break terms of service. And only by terms of service, I mean by stuff that's either legal or stuff that can go really badly if kept unchecked. So past 2020, slowly, people just started leaving or dual streaming at that point. And obviously viewers started leaving just because, well, we don't have your favorite streamer, why be on the site at all? And keep in mind, Dlive has never really had the best small creator program when it comes to it. So as a result, most of the small creators that are super small either slowly grow without Dlive's true help, or at least not in the same way that Kick would, or any other site for that matter. And this is not to talk down to Dlive. They're a great site. Actually, partly some of the admins helped me on this video. But at least from what I'm seeing, they already had some issues. I think it was just exacerbated by the fact that they got much more strict than they needed to be at the time. And just to clarify, this is not just me talking, and from what I've seen, since yes, it'd be nice if you just heard me, but show don't tell, obviously. So there is another person that actually explained their experiences with Dlive. Just 1 second. There we go.
Excited because, you know, all we had was the two main platforms to stream. We had Twitch, we had YouTube, and that was pretty much it. But then comes along Dlive, and it's this shiny new platform, and it's tied to this whole Lino coin thing, this blockchain. Oh, this is fun and exciting. This is new, and and you can donate lemons and shit to people. It's got a little treasure chest that you click on every now and then. That's how the monetization works. You know, so it was all very cool and creator friendly and inviting. And then even Pewdiepie joined it. And you'd think that'd be the point where the platform exploded, and it's actually kind of where it fucking died. He joined, and then nothing happened. Nothing happened. Well, something did. They decided to destroy their own platform. And, man, I'm salty to report on this because I was really excited. And the site had some pretty neat features. Like, it had one of the coolest commenting sections. Like, you could add these little GIFs to it, and there were so many GIFs, and like people were adding GIFs to it that weren't there previously. Like, it was that was really cool and stuff, but it just didn't take off. And you know, that might sound a bit harsh. It might sound like that, you know, I just didn't give it a chance, but well, let me get into that for just a moment. They continued to destroy their platform after Pewdiepie was no longer the big thing on the website, because a lot of other people joined, and there was just a few smear pieces written about Dlive, and just like that, there was ban after ban after ban. They just started banning people left and right all over the place. But I mean, I suppose the writing on the wall was there because technically they did have that stuff in their terms of service. But yeah, what a shit show. There was all these huge popular streamers on their sites and they just banned them all. And you'd think, okay, well, maybe it doesn't matter if these big popular guys on there, maybe it's a platform for the smaller guys. Well, you'd be wrong. It's not a platform for the smaller guys either. Because the discoverability of it was just god awful.
And just to clarify, this is not a video trying to talk down to Dlive, or at least why they're terrible or anything like that. This is more to state why they're in the situation they're in, because they really had promise and still do, really. Because I've seen comebacks when it comes to situations like Dlive. They have been active in Discord mainly. And on top of it, they do have other communities, like their Turkish community. I haven't seen it myself because I'm not Turkish, but... And again, they even had help making this video when I had to ask them questions about what's happened recently. Even the clips that I do have currently are from 2022, so they still have somewhat of an activeness, just a matter of what to do now. As for the future of Dlive, I'm not really sure where they're really going. And that's not really to say, oh yeah, they're going to crash and burn. That's more of just to say, I'm not really sure what they're playing on next, because they haven't announced it, obviously. But for the most part, there is a few things they can do to at least bring people back and really return Dlive to what it was, or at least the momentum they were going at the time. Because they lost a good portion of momentum from 2022 to now, with how active sites can be and how usually most of them are active. But if any Dlive admins or Dlive executives are hearing this, I do have a few changes that I would probably add if I was in Dlive's situation. Firstly, it's catered to your audience. From what we've seen with Rumble, Odysee, Dlive, from before at least, a lot of people like very hands-off type management from at least the site themselves. So for the most part, a lot of people are just like, well, obviously just watching. So I'm not saying don't ban people whenever you need to. I'm just saying mostly ban people as if it's the last resort. Especially in your position where you kind of need every person on board at the current moment. This goes double to content creators in general, because most of the people that mix with blockchain and content creation both really like to have their own hands to themselves, really. So mostly they focus on their stuff and the site focuses on their stuff. It seems like Dlive kind of forgot that around when BitTorrent came around, because, well, what happened after the fact. Like, where they started banning even the biggest people, and it kind of made the site unattractive to pretty much everyone, since streamers, viewers, and blockchain fans don't really like the idea of being banned off the site for the same stuff that they left Twitch for, or left Mixer for in some cases. It seems kind of counterintuitive to even come on. It's also helpful to be more transparent with updates, since for the most part, from what I've seen from Dlive's Instagram and from other areas, it seems like it's mostly promotions on smaller scales. It's not really the same stuff that everyone else is doing with updates. Because at least when it comes to other sites, like Twitch has their own, I guess, pseudo press conference. Kick has Eddie and other people to actually be representatives of their site. Odysee, the closest relative to Dlive, is more open with their updates and at least tells people when they're actually updating things with their own channel. It feels like Dlive kind of lags behind that front, because for the most part it should just feel like promotions, which is great for the community, don't get me wrong, but that's not the only thing you need to do. There's more to it than that, at least from a viewer perspective. But the staff engagement is great, because even now they're actually hosting a more political type event soon, which is a great start. But also I want more of that for even people that are outside the bubble looking in. It'll be helpful to talk to talk in the site and out the site, so you can actually, I don't know, get a more consensus view of how things are going. But overall, Dlive is a great site, at least a great site in concept. It's just more their management, I don't really feel like is doing the best job they can. And since they have the tools for it, they really can do a much better job when it comes to the future. That's to be determined if they do a great job in the future. So, I guess we'll see. I've been showing off a lot of Dlive creators in this video, so might as well lead y'all out with one. So I'll do that, and I'll see y'all next time.